Arthur Unravels is absolutely brilliant. This is the first segment of the 8th episode of the 14th season of Arthur, and in this episode, Arthur learns to knit and he realises that he's quite good at it and he really thoroughly enjoys it. But when Binky sees him buying yarn and getting knitting needles, he begins to make fun of him, and Arthur was already very wary of people finding out that he knits because obviously knitting has a very strong gender stereotype, and it's also not something that young people traditionally did. I think nowadays knitting and other kind of crafts like that are actually becoming more and more common for younger people, and it's becoming really popular, and the stereotypes are slowly starting to fade away. But certainly when this was released about 10-15 years ago, give or take, that definitely was still a strong stereotype, and Arthur has to learn that actually that's rubbish. That's absolutely rubbish. And if you enjoy something, you shouldn't let other people get in your way of enjoying that hobby or that craft or whatever it is you're doing. I love that Arthur was knitting, and I have to say there's a scarf that he knits, and I won't describe what it looks like, although it might end up being in the thumbnail. If it is, I apologize. But it is stunning. It is actually gorgeous. And I really like the progression of the episode. I think it took Arthur on a real emotional roller coaster. I think it's something that's very relatable for a lot of people in any kind of hobby, because I feel like most hobbies do have a kind of stereotype, whether it's, it's meant to be a hobby for younger children. And, for example, I don't know, top of my head, collecting stickers is generally not something that you'd expect an older person to do, but there's a lot of reward to it and benefit, and it's creative, and if it's something you enjoy doing, you shouldn't feel ashamed of it. And I think it's relatable for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. Brilliant narrative, great execution, really well animated, love the design of the scarf. Definitely a solid episode, and one that I personally really thoroughly enjoyed.